Hello, everyone. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I didn't understand it, but I trust that he said only nice things about me. I'm going to speak English. Forgive me for that. As you just heard, my name is David. I'm from a place called Trend Watching. Now, at Trend Watching, our obsession is with consumer trends. We are obsessed with the trends reshaping the mindsets, the expectations of consumers, of human beings all over the world. And usually when I stand on a stage like this and I talk to people like you, it's to say, look, here are 3 trends, here are 5 trends that I think must be on your radar right now. Today, I want to do something a bit different. I want to go a step further than that. In fact, take us to a different place, because today I want to look at the question, how can I turn you into your own trend watchers? So I want to look at these things called consumer trends. I want to understand what they are, where they come from. But most of all, I want to empower you guys to go out into the world out there and start spotting consumer trends, start spotting trends of your own. Because if you can do that, you're empowered to go out into the world, start seeing these trends, start understanding what is coming next for business, what is coming next for consumers, what will people out there, what will human beings want next. So that is my mission for you for the next 18 minutes, very quick, 18 minutes. Before we get into that, I want to do a very quick exercise. So please do me a favor, put your hands up and keep them up if you use Uber. Or it can be any on-demand car service. Just put your hand up in the air and keep it up in the air. Right, great, lots of you do. Now think about this thought experiment. Keep your hand up, that's important. Think about this thought experiment. You're on the street, you tap that app, and the app tells you your car will take 1 minute to arrive. Right? Who would wait 1 minute? Yeah, we'd all wait 1 minute. Who will wait 3 minutes? Already some hands have gone down. Who will wait 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay, 10, 15, okay, 15. I'm going to say 10. Now think about that, okay? If you're old enough to remember the days when you dialed for a taxi and the guy said, okay, this taxi will be at your feet in 10 minutes, that would have been too soon. That would have been too quick. You would have been like, can you make it 15 minutes? Can you make it 20 minutes? Okay, you've become very impatient. But in fact, you are not alone. If you rewind back to the very early days of Uber, they ran an interesting experiment in one city. And the experiment showed that the longer Uber had been running in that city, the less patient people were when it comes to waiting for a ride, okay? The longer it had been there, the less time people were willing to wait for a ride. And then they ran this experiment in multiple cities, and the result was always the same. The longer Uber had been running in the city, the less time people were willing to wait for a ride. It's almost as if Uber had changed what people expect when it comes to urban transport. Now, I would just love you to take that thought and hold it, okay? Because that idea that innovations can come along and change what human beings expect of the world around them, that gets to the heart of everything I want to talk to you about today. So back to us at Trend Watching for a second. Like I say, we're all about consumer trends. We have offices all over the world, and we're obsessed with the question, what is coming next for business? What's coming next for consumerism? What will people want next? And we help businesses understand answers to that. But like I said, today I just want to give you very quickly the core idea, the simple, powerful core idea that you can use to go out and become trend watchers of your own, okay? It's what we do all the time, but it is very far from rocket science. Anyone can do it, and it's that idea that I want to give to you now. And along the way, we will look at 3 trends. We'll look at 3 powerful trends for 2020 that I think should be on your radar. So let's do this, okay? Let's turn you into trend watchers. Our analysis of the world around us at Trend Watching starts with a very simple observation, and that is change. The world is changing around us all the time, and we're used to that. We live with very rapid change, right? Technological change, social change, attitudinal change. You only have to look at the business arena for the last handful of months to see how fast the world is changing. So we had the stories recently about Apple reaching peak iPhone. Are sales of smartphones finally set to decline? Very interesting question. Earlier or in 2018, we had Mark Zuckerberg hauled before the US Senate to talk about Facebook's impact on democracy. It became pretty clear very quickly that the senators don't really understand Facebook or the internet, but we all got to figure out who it is Mark Zuckerberg reminds us of. Finally, the conundrum is solved. We had Gillette earlier this year running a Me Too campaign thinking about new ideas of masculinity. We have Britain forming an orderly queue for Brexit. Don't get me started on that. We can talk about that at the bar later. Here's the thing about all this change. It can throw you off balance. It's very hard to know how to make sense of it all, let alone how to see what's coming next when we live with this rapid change. But there is a simple, powerful core truth that can let you get a handle on this change, start to make sense of it, start to discern meaningful new directions of travel, meaningful new trends within the change. And here is that truth. Yes, there's lots of change, but amid all that, we are still the same old humans with the same old basic human needs. Okay, so human beings are motivated by a set of basic needs and wants, things like value, security, excitement, love, whatever it is. They are very stable. They don't really change decade on decade. They don't change century on century. And trends are made of these two building blocks. Okay, new trends in human behavior, new trends in ways of thinking are made of these two building blocks. On the one hand, change. On the other hand, basic human needs. In fact, to be more specific about it, new trends emerge when some change in the world, okay, often a new technology, but some change in the world unlocks a new way of serving a basic human need. That's what new trends in human behavior and human mindset come from. They come from new ways of serving these age-old human needs we all have, okay? And we think the best way you can see that happening is to look out to the world of innovation, okay? The products, the new services, the new campaigns coming about right now, and just look for those innovations that are serving basic human needs in new ways. And the thing about those innovations, the thing about innovations that serve basic needs in new ways, is they do something special. They change people. They give them new habits, they give them new behaviors, new mindsets. Ultimately, they give them new expectations. They cause them to expect new things of the world around them. If you rewind back to the beginning of this presentation, see how many of you admitted to yourself that Uber has basically changed what you expect of urban transport, right? It's changed what you expect from taxis. And that's what innovations that serve basic needs in new ways do. They give us new expectations. And once those expectations have been created, they will spread. They'll spread across markets. They'll spread across industries. They'll spread across demographics. That's something called expectation transfer. And that's a really important part of how trends work. So I just want to give another example of it. Here's another little exercise, very quick. Does anyone know what this is? It's a hamburger, for sure. Anyone else got something more specific? Anyone? Anyone know? Okay, I'm going to tell you. It's the Impossible Burger. It's actually an artificial, totally plant-based hamburger. Okay, it tastes like a hamburger. It feels like a hamburger. It even bleeds like a hamburger, they say. But it's totally artificial. It's made from plants. Now, why is this interesting? Think about it. Billions of people around the world eat red meat. But there is rising awareness, okay, that it's not particularly healthy and it's also not particularly sustainable. Farming all that red meat is not that great for the planet. Now think about the basic human need to feel good about yourself as a person, okay, to feel like you take decisions that are in alignment with what you truly believe as a human being. Eating red meat is increasingly dissonant with that basic human need. You know, you might eat a hamburger, but you feel kind of guilty because it's not very good for you and it's not very good for the planet. But now this innovation has come along and it's leveraging a new technology, right, which is plant-based meat, to serve that basic need to feel good about yourself in a new way. So you can eat this hamburger, it's just like a hamburger, it tastes just like a hamburger, and feel good about yourself. and feel good about the decision you've made, because this is healthy, it's totally sustainable, it's great for the planet, and all of that. Now look, consumers don't have to eat this hamburger to have their expectations changed by it. They just have to see it, they just have to hear about it, and they'll start to ask themselves questions like, if the Impossible Burger can give me a hamburger that's totally sustainable and really healthy and all of that, why can't my local restaurant? Why can't the hotel I'm staying at? All of this kind of stuff. And actually, the big players see these expectations are emerging, and we can see them responding to them. So look at this. This is the McVegan burger. This is McDonald's launching their first totally plant-based, totally vegan hamburger. They trialed it in Finland and Sweden, and they've just announced they're going to roll it out across the entire world. This is Co-op. This is a UK supermarket chain. Just a couple of months ago announced they're launching their own plant-based, totally vegan hamburger. And actually, these kinds of expectations will spread way beyond food and beverage. They'll spread to all kinds of industries. So this is the London Hilton launching its first totally vegan hotel suite. So all the materials in here are totally sustainable, totally plant-based. All the room service is totally vegan, totally plant-based. The only food in there is plant-based. All of that, okay? Now look, here's the thing. This is, so new innovations come along. They serve a basic human need in a new way, and that creates new customer expectations. And once those expectations have been created, they will spread. And that's really all I'm talking about when I talk about a trend. I'm talking about a new set of expectations that are spreading. Okay, they'll spread across markets, across industries, across demographics, and they'll eventually spread all the way to your door. That's why we are so passionate about telling clients, you live in an expectation economy. Your competition is not necessarily just the other people in your industry, definitely not just necessarily the other people around you. Your true competition are those brands, those businesses, those startups who are creating the new expectations that you will eventually face. Okay? And that is why looking out to the world of innovation with this simple framework of change, basic human needs, and new expectations is such a powerful way of seeing what is coming next, as seeing new customer expectations as they're emerging, as they are moving towards you before they smash into you. Okay? So you can start to think, what do these new expectations mean for us? What can we do about them? And that's just what we do at Trend Watching all the time. So we're fueled by this. It's a big spotting network of like thousands of people all over the world. They're sending us products, services, innovation examples from their own markets, and we're like joining the dots between them, seeing the new expectations as they emerge. Now, I promised you 3 trends, so I'll give you 3 very quick examples of what I mean by looking at innovations to see how expectations are changing. So for example, when we see an innovation like this, and I'd love you to Google this innovation once this talk is over, once today is over. This is Gatebox. Gatebox is like an artificial intelligence-fueled home assistant like Alexa with a difference. And the difference is it has this little character living inside it. She's a little hologram. She talks to you. When you're at work, she sends you text messages saying, when are you going to be home? I miss you, all of this stuff. It's very weird, very, very weird. Okay? Now, when we Google it, Gatebox, you can watch the video. It's very strange. It's from Japan. When we see innovations like that and others like it, we say, okay, we can see signals emerging that consumers are going to start to expect AI-fueled entities, AI-fueled assistants that go beyond just functional and transactional, that become true companions. Okay, and that's this trend, virtual companions, that we're talking a lot about this year. Now look, when we see an example like this, very different example. This is Highfly. They're a Portuguese airline. They recently ran the world's first single-use plastic-free flight from Portugal to Brazil. So the airline industry is terrible for single-use plastics. All the plastic cups, all the plastic cutlery that gets thrown away, hundreds of thousands of tons of single-use plastics are used by airlines every year. Highfly have committed to become the world's first single-use plastic-free airline by 2020. When we see interesting innovations like this, and others like it as well, and we join the dots. We say, okay, we are seeing signals that consumers are going to start to expect great experiences from airlines, from restaurants, from hotels, minus the guilt about the negative impact of those experiences on the planet, on the environment. Finally, final example, when we see innovations like this is Alibaba and Ford automating the process of buying a car. I'm not going to tell you about this innovation, I'm just going to play you a very quick video, so check this video out. Okay, and away they drive. So you can see how much of that process is automated. Like you use your phone, you take a picture of a Ford car on the street. It's using image recognition to say, yes, we have this car in the vending machine. You go to the vending machine. It's using facial recognition to bring you the car. You unlock the car with a code on your phone and you drive off. You can even buy the car using WeChat on your phone. And this is not just a video, this is a real service. It was in 2 Chinese cities in 2018. Alibaba and Ford said they wanted to make buying a car as easy as buying a can of Coke from a vending machine. And again, when we see innovations like that, and we see others like it, we say, okay, we are seeing expectations that consumers are going to want brands to leverage AI, to leverage smart technologies, to automate some of their retail behaviors, to automate some of the process of engaging with them and buying from them. Now look, a few very quick final things to say about this. I want you to go out into the world. I want you to look at innovations, products, services, campaigns, and use them as signals of where consumer expectations are heading and what people will expect from you. When you do that, don't get hung up if some of the innovations you see seem ridiculous to you, like the gate box example I showed you, or like these self-parking slippers, okay? Yes, they may be ridiculous. It's not about that. Take a step back from what you think about the innovation. It's about the underlying expectations that this innovation is signaling to you. And look again, it's not about success or failure. I'm not telling you to go out and try to find the next unicorn, the next $100 billion company, the next Google, the next Facebook. Unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't see the future in that way. Lots of the innovations you see will fail. Most startups fail. Okay, that's fine. It's not about success or failure. Again, it's about using the innovation as a signal of an underlying set of customer expectations that are emerging. Now look, if you do this, if you go out into the world and start using this simple framework, change, basic human needs, new expectations, you can turn all this overwhelming change that is so confusing into something very empowering, because then the more you see, the more you are empowered to see new expectations as they're emerging, as they're moving towards you, and think about what they mean. So just final word is this: when you go out there today, at the end of today, this week, this month, for the rest of this year, whenever you see a new innovation, just ask yourself 3 simple questions. Number 1, what has changed to make this innovation possible? Okay, often it's a new technology. What new technology or what other change has allowed this innovation to come into being? Number 2, what is the basic human need this innovation is serving? And if you just ask yourself 1 question, make it this question: when people use this innovation or when they see it, What new expectations will it generate? What will people start to expect from me? Okay, if you go out into the world with that simple framework, it becomes a habit, it becomes a new way of looking at the world around you that can empower you guys to start spotting trends, to start answering the question, what is coming next? Then you have to apply the trends. Okay, trends are useless if you just know them. These trends are opportunities to innovate, so use them to create your next product, your next service, your next campaign, and I hope that will be a winning strategy for you. But that is more than enough for me. It's been super fun. Thank you for listening. Thank you.